Right? Okay, sure. Right? No, no, no. I'm gonna stop you right there because first of all, Laya's fine, right? But the other guy's got to start worrying about. I'm gonna need to pick Joshua, and then how is Joshua going to stop Laya and all of Laya's friends? You got that? You got to pick Joshua. Well, well, okay. Joshua is like okay, but who you really want is you really want Jeremy, okay? Yeah, we out here for the Linsanity, my brother. We out here for the Linsanity. Yeah, I mean Jeremy's cool and all, but it gets real scary when Jonathan is snowballing his Wind Rider and he's coming down at you with that Gab, the vigor from his Conqueror Lilius because the other guy just first picked Laya. He's looking to do upwards of 40,000 damage in a single swing. He absolutely gets triggered. And that's why we are calling him by every other J name besides what his actual name is. You gotta trigger him a little bit. And that's how he gets strong. No, 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 no. But you Kane did not come into the meta, but you know who did? My boy Jonathan. I mean, okay, all things considered though, he is global banned from the tournament today. All right, well, guys, welcome to the AppGallery EU Tournament Challenger Cup sponsored by a special collaboration between Epic 7 and Huawei. Huawei is an app gallery app store platform offering discounts through coupons, special offers, and it gives you access up to 25% and sometimes more on your in-app purchases in Epic 7 as well as other games. So make sure you check out the QR code, click the pinned link, pin that link. Awesome, thank you. And then you can enjoy Epic 7 with discounts, especially times like right now where we're getting high value packs like the Relay Summons pack, like those the Burning Passion packs. Only available through Huawei App Gallery. Make sure to check them out. You know what a coyote doesn't do for you is get you 25% off on your Burning Passion packs. Oh no. Yeah, okay. You know that lady reminds me of my cousins, right? So I have cousins right now visiting from China, and she was like she took my car because she has an international license. She took my car and she went up to meet with one of my other cousins downtown LA, and she was like, yeah, so he told me to go to this restaurant and it's just in the middle of I don't know what this area is, but they got tents everywhere. I see dudes with like needles shooting stuff up. She's from China. She don't know what drug. She's never seen people do drugs before, right? And I'm like asking my other cousin. I'm like, why did you ask her to go to Skid Row, like homeless central? And he's like, oh, the restaurant there is good. I like the fried chicken. I'm like, no, brother, you're okay there because you live there. But our cousin from China is like, she don't know about the shit you need to watch out for. He's like, oh, I didn't think about that. Yeah, yeah, always. I mean, Going to be getting a few $100s worth of mystic packs, first place, and then one I don't know. Are you getting an equipment pack? On the listing, still says you're getting one gear pack, and on top of all of that, you will be getting a exclusive frame if you're the winner, and absolutely. And as the prices goes downwards, scaling, you will still be getting smaller mystic packs, and free monthly packs just to keep you going there, as well as more gear packs. Looks like everybody will be getting some gear packs, and I do believe that if you're a participant at all, you are on the hook to win some coupons, monthly packs, gear packs, and basically doing over 10,000 euros worth of giveaways. Well, we're already at the top 8 phase of the tournament. Today, we will be seeing the results being played out between Puds and XLR as a first set, and then Biru and the Rikazo. And on top of that, we will also be showing the semifinal set involving the winners of these two sets. Yeah, we've seen a lot of Puds and Rikazo, but do not discount the other players in these bracket. I mean, Biru, uh, very often you'll catch him fighting on the ladder, and to quote him is specifically, "I learned from the best." So I'm down to see what type of set drafts that he comes up with. No, no, that's actually what happened. I fought him on the ladder yesterday. 102. I was like, man, what's your secret? Man just said, I learned from the best. So I'm out here cheering for my Elephant Man, as well as the XLR. Guild leader to life, known cleaver guild. So I'm expecting to see some heavy cleave action coming into today's tournament. Absolutely. He's trying to go fast. I mean, with Zeo passive 86, I wouldn't even be surprised if he goes up to 87 or even 88. Mm-hmm. New draft mode. I actually haven't played that much, but I've seen some of the new units. And one, I'm glad we're getting more serious builds, and two, I'm glad they tossed in a few for fun builds in there. And these games, some of these builds go kind of hard. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, speaking of exciting games, I do believe our participants are ready. Shall we head right into the games? If we're ready? All right, perfect. Yes, going into the first set, we will be having Poods versus XLR. Going right into it. Really excited to see what pre-bans these guys go for. I mean, as you know, when it comes to competitive matches like these, the pre-bans are everything. It sets the pace and the tempo of the matches, especially removing the OP units. But Lei is going to get picked up first by XLR. I mean, I am very scared of XLR's draft right now. Leia picked up first. Conqueror Lilia snatched up. I thought opening with a Leia would prompt that he goes into the Faithless Lidica red, green, blue cleave, closing out with a Fumir, closing it out with a red unit, but no, picks up Conqueror Lilies as well as Spectre Tenebria. We are going to disrespect this last Rider Crow. A lot of damage is going to come through versus the Spectre, but, I mean, once that damage is done, he's on a long cooldown. And the whole point of Tempest Urin is that when you are going into a cleaver, she is going to get hit, CR push herself, stealth, so she's very weak against AoE, and she's very weak against like that extra fixed damage you might get from Karina, but versus the Spectre, she'll do just fine, and Zio gets picked up, so XLR here is looking to take that first turn initiative, but Puds, I don't think Puds cares for that at all, and that Tempest Urin might just be in a position to be able to pop off. Wow, and he's really choosing to not respect this Tempest Urin here. We'll have to see if that is an investment that'll pay off, or if he'll get punished for that. All of these units, sure, don't necessarily just get blown up by a Tempest Urin, but it's not a matchup you want to find yourself going head on into. Wow, and they picked up Specimen Says for last pick. That's not something... I don't know if you want to pick that into a Conqueror Lilies. Maybe that's Pooh's ban. You know, as a second pick player, you want to decide what you're banning first and then pick an according unit that is going to perfectly choke out your opponent, thus creating the known force ban, right? Surprise, surprise, Zio takes first turn, drops it on the Karina. We resist the silence, eats a counter as well, no defense break, so that is going to be one of the blessings that he does get. However, that is looking like a good bit of damage, even through maybe even some bit of mitigation, so potentially a damage or a hybrid Zio that gets resisted by the Karina. Defense break, pop! Ooh, Puds is known to be tanky, and the last Rider Crowd just tanks it out. However, Spectre Tenebria does get pushed up into the turn, and like you said, there are 4 souls, 2 soul burns to her name. Does XLR have enough flexibility in his team to be able to maneuver himself out of this position? Soul burns once, takes out the last Rider Crowd. He's thinking he's got 10 more seconds on the clock. How does he play this out? How does he get the win? I mean, Tempest Urin is slowly creeping up, and Lots of damage is going to be coming through. We burn again. Goes on the Karina. We're going to look to push for the kill on the Karina. Angel of Light be damned. We do not care. Sends the S3 right in. Ooh, soul burn for Puds. And I mean, Lai is known to be able to close out fights 1v2, 1v3, sometimes even. But versus 2 dedicated DPS units in the Karina. Oh, I mean, I don't think she's worried about that. She's more so worried about this Tempest Urin. This Tempest Urin has got to go. And that's why the Tempest Urin was such a strong pick here. Laia might not have enough damage, but we'll have to see. She's taking her turn, still has time left on that base. Just, oh wait, never mind, it comes back! And I mean, that was a straight up damage difference. If Puds just had even a little bit more damage on that Tempest Urin, I think he was fine. I think if he just had a tiny bit more going for him, our post-game report is not working, so we'll just talk over this. But if he was just 51% of his HP, Puds was in the clear. He survives that and he sustains himself back, but having defense on the lie, it does do that to you. And, Tempest Urin not able to pull that back out. I mean, that was a really tough loss for Puds. I think no matter how you see this, Puds is the underdog in this fight. And when you are the underdog and you showed your hand, you need to have a win to show for this. And XLR being able to take that one home just means XLR has such a strong leg up on this game. And whenever these guys are ready, I'm down to send into the next game, see where things go, because, oh boy, not ready for this. Have you seen Nuclear Landy? We're talking about Navy Captain Landy, but she is banned out right now, so not something we're going to have to worry about for this set. But be on the lookout for that. If it comes down to it, Navy Captain Landy, I'm talking about like 5k attack, 250 crit damage. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. I think that's exactly what's going on. You got the good right read there. FCC comes out, double mitigation, 3 shield icons on Puds' side, as well as a Briar Witch Iceria coming out. I mean, Briar Witch Iceria here to clean up that Aiden. And I mean, here's the part that I think Pooh should be really concerned about. The draft looks fine, and I think he'll weather out this storm in terms of damage, but how is he going to beat that Death Dealer Ray? Death Dealer Ray is such a powerful unit. He's often pre-banned in so many matches, including my own, and here, he's just an anchor for Cleave. He's going to be able to just survive and hold it down versus these units, and if he lands his debuffs, I think Pooh might be in a lot of trouble.
生と死どちらを望む死へいざなう煙のない君も気に入ってくれるかないいサンプルが得ら治療だまだ希望はある
Goodness, every single immunity went down, every buff went down on Puds' side, 3 units asleep. No first turn for the Karina, no turn for the Briar Witch, and maybe just the Crimson Armor. And if the Crimson Armor can properly set up defenses, Puds has 1 fighting chance left in him. And that's the power of Zio. No matter how much effectiveness you put on him, he always has a little bit of combat stats, and paired up with that Venom, it's always going to be able to close out some of these tanks. I mean, Fallen Cecilia looks like she's about to go down as well. Not a good look for Puds. Briar Witch Iceria needs to be his only chance to come back from this. This needs to be on an insane amount of damage. It needs to be able to click the button and just turn the entire fight around. However, oof. Gets taken down to 1 HP. Top right comes out. And that's why he's such a strong anchor unit whenever you're playing a cleave composition or even a standard composition. And his whole point is, when your opponent's that defensive, when everything is designed around mitigating damage, well, suddenly you can't do anything about debuffs. All of these HP scaling units you have, now they look terrible. I mean, that's exactly how it goes. If you want to be the champion, if you want to be at the top, you cannot let one defeat stop. You cannot let two stop you. You make the reverse sweep and you come back all the way. You come back strong. Let's see if it happens. I'll link them. Yeah, don't worry. However, Spectre Tenebria comes back, Bellion's out the game, Navy Captain Landy's out the game. Spectre Tenebria, once again, best unit in the game. You do not have these annoying AoE counterattacks, extra attacks, peppering down, chipping her down with that damage. And there it is. You know, we talked about this, but Lua is now back. I mean, there's no Noctwall, no Conqueror Lilius, no Leia. Who do you turn to? Who is the best speed opener unchecked for so many seasons? That's right, Lua is back. And you know, really interesting pivot here from XLR. He goes for a Destina, so looking at triple support, and with the DDR, the Death Dealer Ray locked in, that is 4 supports. If the Spectre Tenebria gets banned, Puds will have to fight a 4 support draft. I know we're in a bit of a slower meta right now, but that is something else. I am not expecting that. Gonna be a tough one, but as much as I want to support Puds, I think Spectre Tenebria and Destina got this one. Really important for XLR to stop at least some source of damage here. He's on a thin edge despite being in the lead. Only 1 carry in the back, not very much margin for error. Puds, however, on his side has 3 damage dealer in the AoE. We got that Last Rider crowd with the AoE bike. Fallen Cecilia, despite what you think, HP scaling still does quite a bit of damage, and Karina does have that AoE splash whenever she punches somebody with her ultimate. Oh yeah, the speed up was really important. However, does take the turn off the Karina, and Last Rider Crown now burning in, going in on the damage. Let's see how much damage. Woo! Spectre Tenebria lives with half HP, and XLR is looking like he's in a pretty good spot. Angel of Light goes down. That's a unit that's not coming back. It lowers the cooldown by 2 turns, so Puds is looking to play fast, and he's looking to go hard. These units being able to retain their speed buff from the Lua also means they just get to take their turns that much faster. An aggressive team is always going to be fast, and with the speed buff, it's even faster. Puds needs to catch up, and he needs to catch up fast. And I'm not sure he's going to be able to make it. All that damage just been mitigated by the Destina. And each turn passing, Spectre Tenebria gets stronger. That is the only attack scaling character in the entire match right now. Defense break does land. I mean, dual attack, you're going to take every single extra source of damage you can get here. This is no joke for Puds. He's not in a good spot. I mean, that would be true. I mean, AOL is a good unit, and she stops a lot of compositions, but when you're against something like this, they got the cleanse, they got the damage. AOL, a character who just doesn't do any damage, she doesn't offer enough for the composition here to carry Puds to that win. And I mean, XLR is just setting up these kills so perfectly. Karina's whole identity here is she's supposed to stop the aggression. However, Lua puts her to sleep, and XLR just says, hey, I take this turn. He syncs up all his cooldowns, gets the attack buff on the Spectre Tenebria, builds up his souls, and then just burns right through a target. And then he kind of just uses the Destina to keep his core alive until that next time this happens. I mean, that's just the power of, I don't know, being the leader of one of the best cleave guilds. You could see the experience. He knew exactly when to speed up his draft into a cleave. Those matches go fast, and he knows exactly when his opponent's being overly defensive, so he can just pivot his composition, play something defensive, like that Death Dealer Ray anchor, or just anchor it down with the Destina to keep the Spectre Tenebria alive. We were talking about how he was riding this line, and right that line he did. This draft looked really clean. Absolutely. I am glad we got to see this today. But with that said, XLR will emerge victorious, and he will be the one to move on. So after this, we should be seeing the set between Biru and Razo. All right, how are we looking? Biru and Razo are loaded up, so whenever they're ready, we'll send into it. We saw a great set, super clean play by XLR. We'll be seeing Biru and Razo. I mean, these are legends on Twitch. Sometimes they're here, sometimes they're not. Hope to see them around more often. And yeah, the moment these guys are ready, I'm curious to see how this one plays out, because I mean, we know Razo is one of the best aggressive players. However, Biru, we mentioned earlier, that man learned from the best. Oh, you can't have water as well? That's... Oh, Jesus. Oh, good luck. I don't know if you need medicine, but if you do, 07 from me, brother. I mean, talking about the draft though, I mean, once again, we got that first pick Leia. Really interesting to see. Beerus does have this Knockwool pre-ban, which really makes the OP counterattack bruiser strong. However, Rikaza with the foresight actually bans out both, so the game can neither be too fast nor too slow. There's no Zeo to enable cleaves, and there's none of these white knight bruisers, no Navy Captain Landy, no Abyssal Yuffie, terrorizing the game with their counterattacks and with their fighting spirit charges. For which one? Oh, Laika, yeah. I mean, that's not a unit you'd expect to see. Rikazo sets up some pretty unique, aggressive plays with her. However, Dragon King Sharoon with that passive cleanses sleep and puts up Cascade is going to eliminate some of Rikazo's options in being able to just put units to sleep. So that's going to be a bit rough. And Unbound Knight Airwell, you know, we know her as one of the best mitigators in the entire game with the escort buff. However, she does have this unintended side effect of being one of the best Urban Shadow shoe counters, because she puts up so much barrier, and when barriers are up, guess what? Barrier damage does not activate injury, so is going to buy about 1 to 2 turns versus Urban Shadow shoe. Ooh. My brother, we gotta stop. There is an Arunka in the game. I mean, she stops barrier units, but I don't know if this is a unit you want to slam into an airwall. You might just get stuck in a spot. I mean, she does damage, but I don't know if she does enough damage to go through an airwall, and a Leia, you know? And look at that, 3 units start with barrier. That is an activation condition for the Arunka. We were talking about how, you know, the barriers are so strong here. Whoa, escort remove. I did not think that was going to be possible, but high effectiveness on that green Leica will strip now. Do not forget. And now the units, I mean, it's a free game, but Bunny Dominion pushes up all the unit by 20%, and that's a power. Oh. Oh. $26,000 damage on a crit. I cannot believe it. I mean, look at that. 2 turns, 2 damage skills, and this match was already over. Holy moly. And I mean, we were talking about how Rikazo liked to set up just these aggressive drafts with units you might not commonly see, and I definitely was not expecting an Arunka game 1 to win the game. And I mean, right after this, whenever these guys are ready, send it into the next set. Show us the next match. I want to see how this game goes down.
ふん、結構やるわね。
Absolutely, Divine. And if you played in any tournaments at all, you know this is a sign of somebody taking a loss a little personally. He wants to run back the draft, he wants to run back the picks, and now he's thinking, how do I set this up differently? I know I can beat this. I know I can outdraft this. And now it's on Biru to overcome. He's asking for the run back, but 10 seconds left. He hasn't chosen a unit yet. He's thinking about it. Almost picked away the Bunny Dominion, but we are going once again with the Airwa. However, this time Spectre Tenebria comes out. So a little bit of a safer DPS option. We don't have to rely on the Specimen Says, eating a barrier. I mean, he's a very creative player, so I'm already expecting that we're going to get a treat no matter what. Bunny Dominion comes out once again, so now Razo is in a position to, just like last game, he just drafts 2 more DPSs at the end, very aggressive, pulls his entire team up, and just drops damage, raining those damage big numbers down across Biru's team. Biru needs to pick something active to be able to stop this. Incredibly so. You wouldn't really think so, but if you looked at the utility on offer, I mean, Green Leica, she has debuff, she has buff strip now, she has attack up, lots of utility, injury from the shoe, and also an okay anchor DPS. Bunny Dominion got the CR push, lots of tempo, attack buff, and Briarwitch is one of the best utility DPSs in the game. Faithless Lidica now being picked away as a response, as well as the Politis. Politis is here to check all of the non-attacking supports like that Green Leica S2, like the Bunny Dom S3, so will be a bit of a thorn in Razo's side, and that Faithless Lidica is trying to steal a turn somewhere in between. And you can see Biru's game plan. Instead of just giving Razo the whole bag and letting him play the game, he's looking to get a little bit sneaky. He's looking to get a little bit shifty, and that is generally the way you want to approach interrupting a fast player.
Daddy?
Something's telling me both of these last units are getting banned. Politis holds back the Requiem Rowana, and the Requiem Rowana holds back everything else. Yeah, will be a little bit tough as well. Goes for the strip this time. Ooh, drops in a defense break. Don't know if this is exactly what he's expecting, but that air wall might not be long for this world. Bunny Dominion once again pushes up the entire team. However, that's a huge, huge turn. The shoe cuts, but the ooh.
張りましょうね。しょうがない。
I mean, the most important thing here, though, was that the Briar Witch Iseria was able to escape the reset. She had so many buffs on her that the stealth was being kept, the immunity was being kept, and as long as the Briar Witch Iseria gets to take a turn, I think Razo has some ways to come back, because now he's losing tempo. Spectre Tenebria takes a turn, and the green Leica gets taken out. No pushback happens, at least none that are significant, and now Biru is mounting the counter assault.
挑戦か受けてたと。もう限界だ。全てを終わらせよう。私を捕まえに来たの？はっ！ない。これでも私商談書なんですけど。
Soul burns the bunny dom. We're going to put the Faithless Lidica to sleep. We need to buy back some time, any amount of time, because now Biru is mounting that counter assault. He's coming back up ahead. Spectre Tenebria dual attacks. Just look at the amount of damage. So many kills have gone down in this game already. That means the Spectre Tenebria will be getting extra attack, extra defense. She's stacking up. She's ready to go. 2 units being put to sleep. Spectre Tenebria playing this game by herself. However, Soulburn does get her 1 kill. Drops the Bunny Dominion. Puts the Briar Witch Iseria into the immortality. And I'm afraid the shoe might not be long for this world. Gets taken out right here as well. GG comes out from Razo. There is only so much you can do before you just run out of damage. And that was a huge case for how important speed tuning was. I mean, this is one of the best aggressive players in the game, and we saw a case where his Briar Witch Iseria barely missed a turn, and it gave Biru just enough room to be able to launch a counter assault. And I mean, look at the effectiveness of that, right? Just having that skill nullifier up gave him so much power, it bought him so much time, and suddenly Razo just ran out of gas. Yep, and you know, the moment these guys are ready, send it into game 3. I want to see who comes out on top. I want to see who gets the lead on the other guy. And now we see the pre-bans, or rather the post-bans from last game being added to the pool. No Requiem run. However, finally Razo does get to pick up that Leia. Leia just a little bit too strong. I mean, this is a unit that can stop all of the best openers in the game. She's tanky as heck. She cleanses, resets cooldown, which is an insane utility. On top of all of that, we saw in the set previous as well, she has enough power to close out a match. Conqueror Lilius and Arrowell picked up, and Razo, I mean, doesn't slow down a beat. He just picks up the shoe again. I think the shoe is very core to his strategy. You get to beat down on all of these tanky units, and on top of all of that, I don't know if you noticed, Prayer of Solitude, he's on a high damage build, and that's exactly how he utilizes it to just push for more damage, play aggressively. Oh, Angel of Light. I mean, Angel of Light is such a strong unit. Not the strongest into a Leia, but into a Leica, you block the S3, you put up skill nullifiers, and we saw how strong that is versus Razo's strategy. On top of all of that, The unbuffable that she can put up stops the Urban Shadow Shoe, and I think stopping the Urban Shadow Shoe has become one of Biru's main ways to dealing with Razo. Yeah. I mean, so here's the thing about Razo right now. He has 20 seconds for 2 picks. And they... Oh, okay. I was just going to say he needs to pick something a little different. And he's definitely picking differently. What is going on? That is not what I'm expecting. I'm not expecting... I mean, there's only so many things you can pick here. A Benimaru, a Wanda. Usually a lot of high-ranking players have skill sets built upon experience, and experience is just knowing the matchups and knowing their common answers, knowing how to deal with them. But how do you deal with this? These are 2 units you don't generally see, and oh boy, I mean, here's to hoping they work. Jeez, I don't know what's going on. Fearing the Benimaru, we're actually going to skip the S3 on the Conqueror Lilius. We do not want to give him multi-layer barrier, which gives him an extra attack. It makes him immune to debuffs and all that good stuff. And oh my goodness, Wanda now takes a turn. Okay, we land a target buff on the Spectre Tenebra. I'm not sure that's very helpful, but ooh, big hit comes out here. Maybe that does something. Damage limit, and we stun the Gala Lilius. Okay, that's not a sight I'm familiar with, and that is definitely very different. We are going to soul burn our Spectre Tenebra. A multi-layer barrier comes out. However, it doesn't protect you from damage, so Spectre Tenebra should be able to take out the Benimaru and push everything back. He needs to buy back as much time as he can, as Gala Lilius is out for 2 turns, and you have to just buy yourself time. Give this Gala Lilius a turn, because that's what he needs to close out this Leia, and if you don't close out the Leia, I mean, we saw earlier, she can end any game by herself. And now, with no Benimaru out, Conqueror Lilius is no longer afraid. She's going to walk, and ooh! Oh, that was such a rough turn. I was going to say, Wanda did, manage to keep a turn of the stealth, but gets popped out right there by the Spectre Tenebra. Urban Shadow Shoe needs to get this game back in Razo's hands. We're going to put out the ultimate. Lots of damage comes through. We take out the Lilius. Extra attack. We hit. We take out the Lilius as well. Spectre Tenebra got 2 souls, so now she needs to close this game out right here on this turn, and it has to be now. Oh my god. I mean, what was that? Rikazo pulls out the Benny Mar. He even pulls out the Wanda. And the 2-turn stun actually ends up being a huge factor. Buys him enough time to drop that Galililius. And the cause and effect relationship here is just unreal. Galililius not being able to take out the Leia, and the Leia closes out the game. I mean, this is a man that did his homework. You know he's crossed his T's and dotted his I's. That is some work. I mean, you can only imagine how many turns, how many days and nights he spent in a mock lobby just thinking to himself, how do I stop this? How do I deal with these common answers? And I mean, as far as coming up with real working answers, there you go. There you go. I was not expecting this. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I mean, Rikazo does have match point. He's up 2-1, but Biru's not one of those guys that just lays down flying. We saw he's very good at making adaptations. He ran back that first game. Game 2, he takes a victory, and now let's see if he can run this back, take a victory off of Rikazo for Game 4. This has been a great set so far, and now once again, the post-ban units from last game has been taken out. Green Leica taken out for Rikazo. That has been key to setting up a lot of his strategies, and now no Leica. Yep. We can see how important this character is to Rikazo's strategy, and it's a joy to watch. Absolutely, and I'm going to smile and be happy about it because I'm a professional.
面倒。部屋に帰らせて。安心して。私がいるから。
Discount on life, that's huge. You can find a link to it pinned in the chat. Make sure you click, especially with Burning Passion packs out right now. I mean, who wouldn't want to grab these savings?
この辺で一番の解決士？そう、私よ。
I mean, here's the thing. It was really important for Biru to stop this Shu, and there's no better way to stop the Shu. We saw how much damage that ultimate offered, and you can stop all of her focus game with the Solitaria. And on top of all of that, the debuff is sure to pepper down Rikazo. But he did make the fatal mistake of picking Aiden into Rikazo, who, is a Wanda player. So that is definitely a threat that Biru needs to contend with. That is one answer, perhaps a second answer in this. Okay, that is also that's something. And I mean, Faithless Litica takes first turn. This is one of those characters where the moment she's in the game, you have to worry about your cooldowns. No more cleanse, no more cooldown reset for this Leia. Resistant, never mind. I should have not said anything at all, but the CR push is what matters. We push up the team. We got the skill nullifier. Bunny Dom pushes up attack, buff, barrier, and now Razo is doing that. I mean, it's the classic. It's the turn one. He gets his turns, and now he needs to set up his targets correctly. Do you go for the angel? He's going to go for the angel. Takes her out right away. So that turn was extremely important, taking out the main damage dealing unit for Biru's side. So Biru now has one out. He has one win condition, and that is Laia Soulburn's ultimate, and that has to kill 4 people. And he, you know, the one saving grace for him is he does have 2 debuff characters. Debuff characters' whole identity is they slow down the game. They don't do a whole lot of damage, but they stop your opponent from playing the game. And Razo, I mean, he got to play the game for a good 4 turns, and I hope he enjoys playing the game for however many turns that is up ahead. And he needs to find a way to stop this Leia. Oh, and you hate to see it. The Urban Shadow Shoe. The Urban Shadow Shoe really, really do not like that unbuffable. It blocks her bzz passive from kicking in. So it removes a lot of damage from Razo. But Faithless Litica here gets an S2. We take out the Angel of Light. And now a huge source of debuff is gone for Biru. A huge source of tempo. And now he burns again. And we are going onto the Solitaria. Do not close out the kill. Oh, not enough damage. And dual attack on the Faithless Litica. I mean, these guys are playing super well, taking out one unit from each other at a time. However, I want to say this is slightly Biru favor. Solitaria is just such a time-tested, proven unit to be strong. Unbuffable still here. Ooh. Oh! Wait a minute! He missed the kill! This is going to be a really close match. This comes down to 2 things. How fast can we get that Faithless Litica S2 back? Misses, so we're not going to be able to reset the Leia here. Ooh. And, oh, we missed the Guiding Light as well. That is going to be a tough rotation for Razo. He's buying whatever time he has, and Faithless Litica does come back, gets the S2. We are going to be able to take out the Solitaria right here, and you just need this Faithless Litica to take as many turns as she can, go back into stealth, put up the debuffs, drop the Sweet Miracle, and ooh, look at that. Again, crit. She doesn't do a whole lot of damage, but it's going to have to count, and she gets taken out right here. Right, right. It's your liver.
甘くて幸せな時間でした。
Ooh, and Biru, like we said, this man adapts and he does take game 4. Oh god, that was so close. We didn't know who it was going to. And, it could have gone either way there. But that was just, one cooldown's worth of difference. It was like if Razo just hit that reset turn 1, I think he had enough tempo. And sometimes that's all it takes to change a match. Yeah, that Leia was a big difference maker here. And once again, we are at match number 5. And I do believe it's Rikaza's turn to play Leia. I'm pretty sure he's opting for that. And these guys have traded blows back and forth. I mean, look at that. Loss, win, loss, win. Win, loss, win, loss. Oh boy. Game 5. It's game time. These guys better put on their best games, best game faces. Let's see how they adapt to their opponent.
ライブスタート。悪い癖は私が直してさし、この世にただなんてないよ。
Oh, yikes. I'm just glad I'm only getting some rain over here. And just like rain, we are getting that peppering down, raining damage down from the Urban Shadow Shoe. However, this time, the Shoe is going over to Biru. Rikazo not going to be able to have this main unit that he's played for 4 matches now. This is going to be a slightly awkward spot for him to be stuck in, taking his time to think through this draft. We do pick up the Faithless Lidica here. That is going to be very important. I mean, this unit just gives so much tempo, and now he already has his 2 CR pushers secured. Rikazo loves playing aggressively, and we saw both of these units just give so much combat readiness, tempo to the entire team. Aiden picked up as well. There's no Elagos in the game, so Aiden's actually a fairly strong pick, and I don't suppose Biru has a Wanda to his name as well.
"私の相手ができると思ってるの?"
Oh boy, Spectre Tenebria. I mean, Rikazo needs to pick some sorts of AoE damage, but AoE damage is hard to pull out when you're staring down an Angel of Light in the face. He needs to think long and hard about how he needs to combo his units together. So far, we have 2 enablers. We got 2 units that push up so much combat readiness, and a cleanser as well. And I mean, Leia, unconditional finisher. We've seen so many times today. If she's in, she will close out the game. And Rikazo, this is how you know. I think prior to this, he was locking in units fast, and he was lightning rounding it. But now, oh, Strays comes in. Oh. Oh, I see what he's going for. This is not your average low Queen Charlotte. I'm pretty sure this is one of those fast, high damage builds. You push her up real fast and she just dunks a big fat one on your opponent. Oh boy, I've been waiting to see somebody play this one. I really hope it's what I think it is. You know, as somebody who plays this game damn near every day, me neither. Faithful as Litica, we removed the AOL, and now we can S2 strips every immunity. This is a high effectiveness Faithful as Litica. We are going to stop the Shu turn 1. Stopping the Shu means stopping the speed buff. Stopping the speed buff means Beerus does not get to fight back as aggressively. And I wonder here if we are going to pull a dual attack or we're just going to keep resetting our cooldowns, keep pushing that tempo. He's going. He's going. Yep, does go into the Karina. We cannot dunk the Shu with that attack. As much as he would have loved to dunk that Shu, the danger here is that if you dunk the Shu, the Karina might just kill your anchor in the 8, and that counter attack earlier actually hurt Razo a lot, landing the defense break and chunking out a whole lot of damage there. So now instead, we're going to just drop it on the Karina. Karina's low now, and now our team is safe. Even if our Aiden gets splashed, we are not losing that much. Ooh, and with the boost, you know, you hit anything and the Aiden is just going to get taken out of here. Spectre Tenebria is going to lose a turn with her attack buff, but stuns the little Queen Charlotte, and ooh, that is a pretty tough spot for Razo. And now Razo just has one goal, and it's to take out the Shu before she drops too much injury onto the Leia, and hopefully Leia can close out the game. That counter attack onto the Aiden in the beginning really messed with the game plan, and now, you know, being adaptable in the draft, it's one thing. Being able to adapt to the happenings within a match, and that's the mark of a real skilled player. But little Queen Charlotte does get taken out right here. And Faithful Lick is doing what she can, fails to strip the attack buff on 3 targets, and Razo's looking like he's in a worse and worse spot. And Lia's not long for this world. It's looking pretty tough, and oh, there she goes. And that was an incredibly tight set. We saw so much back and forth. We saw so much tech picks versus meta units. We saw just straight damage versus terrorism. There was just so much going on within that. And I mean, this is why I love RTA, why I love casting on this beautiful day out here. We just saw some great freaking matches. So checking the ladder real quick, XLR will be moving on alongside Biru and Tristan. Correct me if I'm wrong, but these guys will be playing against each other right now. We're just finishing the top side of the brackets. That's what we're doing, right? Biru just left, so yeah. Hi Tristan. Ooh, I mean, ooh, that is a bit of a tough call. So we saw how strong XLR is when it comes to just crushing overwhelming offense, and you know he hit you with a little bit of switch up there. There is a little bit of defense going on. But I think Biru actually did a really good job weathering through some of that aggressive action we saw from Razo. And I think if he can keep up that level of adaptation, being able to beat super aggressive players is always on the books for you, because these guys generally tend to go more one tone. They're more on one track. So if you have a more variety in your playstyle, it's almost like if you're in a fighting game and you're fighting someone, hitting somebody with a clever switch up, you know? And when you got that switch up game, you can always catch somebody off guard. Wait, you telling me he left the lobby and he just went to ladder? Bro, tell him to fast win meta, bro. Fast win meta. There's no way. That's crazy. He really got that dog in him, bro. Oh my god. Yeah, I hear you. I'm in his chat right now, and let me read you quote what I said. Elephant Man, come back. We're finishing your semis today, please. All right. Anyway, while he's coming back, let me tell you the story of why Biru's been called Elephant Man in the community for a long time. I don't know if Wind Demon has a clip. It'll be a lot funnier if Wind Demon has the clip, but because the story goes like this. There was this one time he was talking to somebody in his chat from Thailand, right? And they said something along the lines of like, yeah, so I was driving the other day, and he goes, wait, you were driving? You guys have cars in your country? I thought in Thailand everybody just ride elephants. So ever since that we've only called him Elephant Man until he hit the name change. Wait, Divine, you are friends with us. You know the experience. You know about Divine Darkness and had to do it to him. You know about both of these experiences. Wow. Dude, Tristan, I just want you to know while you were doing that ad read, I was on camera. I don't do this often, but I start pointing towards where the codes are. So hopefully people were able to find them. Click on the link, scan the code. But, you know, if Biru and XLR is ready, I'm sure we are in for a treat. We saw how strong these guys are, how well they can adapt around each other's draft. XLR, I mean, he's the leader of a known cleaver guild, so we've seen how deep his bag goes. But also Biru, I mean, he learned from the best. So these are some of the best of the best. If you like seeing competitive RTA, this is where you see it. Both competitors shaking on it, wishing each other good luck. We're going to see some clean matches. So ready checking these guys one last time. And when they're ready, you know we are going to send it into the last set of today. Oh, and I want to say, Biru is already favored coming out of the pre-bans. No Landy, no Bellion is a really good Spectre Tenebria game, but Abyssal Euphine is the one bruiser out. And on top of all of that, no Knock-Wall available as well for XLR. So no guaranteed way to shut down this Abyssal Euphine. We know how much of a monster she can be. And if she pops off, you're going to really need this Aiden to keep you in here. She needs to keep you safe. She needs to have your back. I mean, look, this is XLR, okay? He is an extremely aggressive player, and you can bet on that if he has the opportunity, he would take it. But to go aggressive into a Ran with no Zeo on board, that would nearly be a death sentence. So it makes sense for him to not go down that route, but instead opting to play a tank down, maybe play a slower composition, bide his time until he finds an opportunity to go out huge and take the win. And we see XLR once again on this Death Dealer raid. That's an action he really likes to take. Whenever the opponent looks remotely aggressive, he just drops the ray and just says, all right, that's all I need. Yeah, last pick. Yeah. You think he was going to pick Champs or Razo? Hell nah, but... Ooh, and I really did think for a second he was going to pick up the martial artist Chem, but... decided to not go for it. Go for a support here. So we're looking at a... This is so weird. This is 1 tank, 1 DPS, 3 supports, but 2 of these supports are also half DPSs. So it's almost as if XLR somehow found himself a draft where he could have 6 characters. Isn't that crazy? Midnight Gala, Lilius, really strong pick. Great matchup into the Crimson Armin and into the Leia. And, ooh, Briar, Witch Isari, and the Ray Band. So these characters will not be available for the next game. And I mean, Beer originally picked up this Ran as a counter aggression measure, but I don't know if this Ran fits so well with the team when you're playing a slower game, when you're trying to slow down. And now you can't press S2 because it would activate the Ocean Breeze Luluka. You can't press S3 because if you miss on the Aiden, you take way too much damage. So you're kind of stuck between this, you know, a rock and a hard place, deciding what this Ran's role is supposed to be. And maybe he's just a fast assassin character that does chip damage. Elbrus proc for the, Elbrus proc for the Euphine, and that's how you know. All it matters is you kill this Euphine once and you got this game locked down. However, Gala Lily is now going to drop the S3 onto the Leia. Lots of damage is going to come through here, and it might not kill because Crimson Armor mitigation just so much, but puts up the attack buff for the entire team. Ocean Breeze Luluka now finally gets to take her turn. Truck comes out, buff strips, silence, debuff, blind galore.
守るべきものがある限り見ていてあげるわけにはいかない。これが未来への第一歩になるんだから。間に合いましたね。守る者の力を甘く見ないでください。行くよ。見せてあげようか。もう油断すると痛い目に遭うよ。そんな。負け犬はさっさと逃げるんだな。
俺はいつでも最善を尽くす。ここは頼んだぞ。
私を信じてください。
And we get the damage limit back, but Gala Lily is not looking too healthy. But I will tell you what is looking healthy is this Abyssal Euphine. She is now 80% of the way there to her full cooldown, full fighting spirit, for that huge pop off. And there is no Aiden S3 available for XLR, so it might get stuck in a super awkward spot as the game progresses.
みんなの力を感じる。行くよ。戦うべき時を見極めてこそ騎士です。
立ちふさがるなら切り捨てるのみだ。
Definitely not one of those things you want to see. And Ran somehow goes for the S3 right now, lands on one of the green units. Lands defense break on both. Actually, that's huge. What timing on this Ran S3? Takes out the Crimson Armor right away. And the Leia, no cleanse to her name, is going to play with this 2-turn defense break. And that's not something you want to see here. Dual attack goes into the Ran. We no longer want to see the Ran play the game. Takes out with an Aiden duel.
守ることが私の役目です。守るべきものがある限り負けるわけにはいかない。はあ、しまった。君もしつけてほしいのか。身に余る夢を見る者に惨めな終わりが待っているだけだ。指示を出そう。それ以上近づいたら後悔するぞ。今だ。
Being able to keep this Gala Lilius alive is huge. We take out the Leia right here. The huge end game win condition is just taken out. Euphine trauma goes through. We're gonna pop off right now. Oh, and it hits the Aiden. Oh, that CR pushback is a huge. Now Airwall can just stun up, and even if he doesn't land the stun, additional chip damage. We want the barrier for the Euphine that comes through, and oh.
さっさと逃げるんだな。してやらないと。行け。吹き飛ばしてあげる。そんな全部見えるもん。よ。安心して。私がいるからよ。
Oh. Tries to fight back. Elbrus said no. This is not one of those days. Aiden you know, usually a very strong unit versus Yuffie, and yep, not it. This is not the game. You know, we thought that would be the game, but oh, that one was not it. Biru takes it right out. That Ran actually ended up being so important. Galililius did so much work, and Yufine was able to close it out. I don't know how Biru always does it, but he always managed to find himself in these drafts where all of these units are working in unison, and if just one part of the draft don't click, the whole draft falls apart, and he's managing to keep it up beat by beat by beat, and these units are holding each other's hands, just walking themselves to the victory, and that is a pleasure to see. Speaking of Ran, I just want to highlight the, you know, Biru's just ability to identify Ran's out, Zio's out. I cannot get cleaved, and he just played off of that fact so well. And going into next game, you know, with potentially, yeah, with first pick, I wonder if XLR takes a stronger, more aggressive adaptation so he could be back in the driver's seat, so he could play more aggressively. And whenever these guys are ready, I'm ready to see them adapt the next draft. Leia first pick. I mean, you can't get any safer than that. You want to stay safe. You want to be in a range where you can play anything. And Biru this time picks up the Bunny Dominion. That signals to me he's trying to play aggressively. We saw this pick plenty of times with Razo, and he picks up a very proactive Aiden there. I was not prepared to see that. I think it's also an excellent read from him because last game, Briarwitch Isari was post-banned out, so this time she's just not even in the draft. Not a lot of units now can check Aiden. All the other Aiden counters, if you think about the Zahak, Last Piece Corinne, they all need to extra turn, and with this Bunny Dominion picked up, Aiden might just be his safest pick out here in the open, but XLR picks up one Knight as well as one Lua, and whoa, Biru is pivoting upwards! He's a gamer. As gamers have their little mascots. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you know how it is, Divine. Like gamers have their mascot. I have my Stickman, and you have your Weird Owls. You and your Weird Owls number 2, number 3. You know?
私を疑っているのですか？負ける気がしないよ。
Oh. I was wondering how he was going to complete the combo. And sometimes, maybe instead of completing a combo, you just draft a unit that your opponent cannot beat. And, you know, you just get 1v4'd. What do? You have to ban this Yuffie, right? So XLR either bans the Yuffie or he's in for a real long, tough fight. And we're no Janet available. Janet is global banned for this entire tournament, so a little bit unlucky, but you know, we'll be seeing plenty of them when the other streamers go live. And this is how you know this XLR guy is aggressive. Now, normally when you look at a player's team, this Lua unit generally sits on an artifact called Guiding Light. It keeps her stealth, it keeps her invisible, it keeps her safe. And if you look at XLR's Lua, no Guiding Light, not necessary. He's usually just that aggressive, he's that fast, he's him. But in a match like this, where everything is a little bit slower, suddenly now he has to fight against the Abyssal Yuffie and the Aiden with a lone Karina. Does he win this? Does he have an out? Does he find a way? I'm extremely curious to see how he navigates around this Aiden and the Abyssal Yuffie. All their cooldowns are reset. Defense break actually on this Yuffie, so XLR is actually looking fairly good. HP total not looking too hot for Biru, despite us going, you know, I think that's a really good draft. I think he's going crazy this game. XLR definitely taking his tempo and making the most of it. Magaraha's home. She's trying to get through this Yuffie. She's trying. Spawning Dominion turn is hugely important. You're going to cleanse the defense break off of the Abyssal Yuffie right before Karina's turn and heal her up a bunch and give her a barrier. You're going to need everything you can get to keep your Yuffie alive, because at this point, that's looking like your meal ticket to the next game. He's not looking good. He looks like he's seen better days. Oh, you know, we went from one invincibility and we're cycling into the other. Crimson Armin Elena, that is a tank down player special. Abyssal Yuffie is going to need another Elbrus if she wants to take all of these out before they naturally expire. That is going to be a really rough, awkward, and annoying turn to have to fight through. And I'll tell you what, this is the experience of a high rank player. He knows the Abyssal Yuffie is ready to go, and he really just wants to guarantee that next turn. So regardless of whether or not we get a good target, Aiden S3 comes through, we're going to put down the invincibility. Ooh, little cheeky counter attack coming through right here. Ooh, we're going to proc another Elbrus Ritual Sword. Lua is hanging on to her life force by a single thread and, you know, not wanting to activate any more counterattacks. XLR is going to pile every single S1 he sees here into the Bunny Dominion, into an invincible target. That can't feel good.
利用価値すらない存在消えていただきますさあ消えてもらいましょうか皆の中から永遠に
Does he land the reset? He does land the reset. That is something that's playing slightly into XLR's favor. I mean, you can't kill the Yuffie right now. The Yuffie is coming. She's inevitable. But you can delay the inevitable with the Lua. I mean, you put her cooldown back by a turn, and suddenly she can't even cleanse herself. Yeah, taking the Lua out, super important. And now the Aiden's the next tempo target. You're going to just run it down on the Elena and hope during that time the Karina doesn't do something super insane to your Yuffie, and the healing just keeps up.
戦闘準備完了これならやめてあの空の彼方をご覧ください
Ooh, counter attack. The lifesteal goes through. Ooh.
私の力見せてあげる
Oh! The Karina had the speed buff. She almost had the turn, but no. Yuffie cuts. Trauma comes through. Everything gets stripped, pushed back. And oh my god, the ball's in Biru's court. Aiden gets another turn here. Do we tempo? Who do we kill? What's our target? Holy moly.
やだね痛いの好きやだね戦いの時間だね
That is the Crimson Armin difference. We take out the Abyssal Yuffie, no revive because it was an Elbrus Ritual Sword build. Oh goodness. Now the Aiden is stuck in a solo versus...
この服も買い替えたいな
No, it doesn't finish Karina, but it does get a turn here, and the Karina gets taken out.
私たちを導きます 星のかけらとなりて遥けき夜空へあの空の彼方をご覧くださいさみんなの力を感じる行くよ
Oh no, and another counterattack goes through. I don't think you have enough damage to chip through this Aiden's healing and pop just like that. We do not, but this is a tournament. You gotta play out every turn down to the last win condition. And recognizing that he's out of outs, Biru takes a second game over XLR. Ooh. I mean, XLR is an excellent aggressive player, but if you look at these pre-bans, they really don't do him any favors. And the more a match goes on, right, you have aggressive options to remove, and the more I think it favors a more adaptive player. And I think, you know, biases aside, I do think Biru has adapted better throughout the matches that we have seen him in today. So this is one of those situations where XLR really needs to be able to pull out something. Otherwise, I think this is heavily Biru favored. Game time it is, and you know, whenever these guys feel ready, we're sending it. Last match, well, hopefully not last match of the day. This is the last set we will be playing today, and XLR's entire tournament is on the line, and let's see what draft he decides to go with.
息の根を止めてやろう。これでも私、商談書なんですけど。守るべきものがある限り、負けるわけにはいかない。
A McDonald's, but bro, say less. It's Jover. This game's done. This game's done. Oh my goodness. I mean, it's heavily Biru favored, but and I would even say at this point, the Savior Auden might even be the most important unit in the game to pick. With Briar, which Isaria out, with all the other bruisers out, I mean, you want to pick an Abyssal Eufiend match. Abyssal Eufiend is where it's at, and the only unit consistently holding her back is the Savior Auden. And the only other unit that's a factor in this matchup, Martial Artist Ken, also dies to the Auden. So XLR definitely put in a rough spot. And without the Eternal Wanderer Ludwig to even be able to bail him out in anything aggressive, it's not a good look. I will say, though, I do like XLR's adaptations a little bit better. Spectre Tenebria, a very solid unit here. And on top of all of that, he has all of the best utilities in the game. You got the Conqueror Lilius. That's a vigor buff. Hybrid. It's a two-way buff. You get a 30% attack and 30% defense. And on top of all of that, Ocean Breeze Lulka will give you the defense buff, giving you a greater defense buff, if you will. It's just so safe. And wow, you know, as I was saying, safe is one thing, but I don't know if you can beat a Ran. Ran, nothing is safe versus Ran. Nothing is sacred anymore. And I mean, it's just a very strong combo for Biru. And I think, you know, for an aggressive pivot, he has it down. The only difference here is whether or not the edge stays in the game and whether or not you get one of those special anti-cleave, the cleave guard eds. And yeah, that's going to be huge. If there's an anti-cleave ed on the board for XLR, he may have a win in this yet. Going to run it in. The symbol of unity does go. All right, let's see this Ed. Lots of damage does come through. Strips the Politis as well. The restrict buff is actually going to be very deadly against the Politis, but we are not going to tempt fate. High damage Politis, just the drag, and take her out of the game. Real important question here now for Biru is whether he decides to take out the Ed first or the Luca first. I mean, an offensive unit and a defensive unit. Takes out the Luca. He does not want to fight against that defense buff. I mean, that is going to slow down the game way too much. Biru is on a timer. He needs to win the game before the Spectre Tenebria pop-off fully consumes his game. And Spectre Tenebria drops an S1, does blow up the counter and defuse it. Oof. What is that, Ran?
俺はいつでも最善を尽くすさ。
We missed the unbuff as well? Wow. That's a really rough moment. I mean, XLR has one play here. You can soul burn. That's not a play. So you really just have to press your buttons and say I kill here. But whew, looks like it's already written down in the books. And we do take out the Ran. Slightly pushes back the Aiden, but soul burn comes out from Biru. Spectre Tenebria does get put to bed. And now, Bunny Dominion, attack buff, Aiden, that's coming. And Biru will advance to the finals, which will be played next week on Clark's channel, I believe. And oh boy, we got to see some heckin' matches, didn't we, today? We'll be able to catch the second half of the bracket with Tristan Wolf, as Divine said, and next week we'll see the final, the third place match as well as the grand finals on Clark's channel. And thank you again to Huawei AppGallery for sponsoring the event. Not gonna lie, we got some amazing matches. That's absolutely right. Well, I think that is going to be the tournament we're streaming from my channel today. We'll see you guys tomorrow. But for now, let me send you guys over to Biru. Go congratulate him. You guys saw how well he played. So if you want to learn how to play like him, make sure you guys go over there. Go bother him with questions. Go say hi. Go follow him. Drop him a follow. If you have Prime, make sure you prime up the man. Congratulate him. And we'll see him in the finals next week. And we'll see you guys tomorrow on Tristan Wolf's channel. Have a great one, guys. That'll be it from me today, Valky. And the squad? No, I mean, like, the squad, like, that's my boy Divine and Tristan in the back doing support work. Can't thank you enough, Tristan. God bless your soul. You doing God's work out here. Really appreciate you. And that's all we got for you. No, you're the best. All right, take it. You're the best. All right, go follow Beer, guys. Go.